Hi, it's Billy Tarasio from Modern Law. Happy Monday. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I spent my weekend trying to get my house Christmasified, all set up for Christmas. And I didn't have my kiddos, and I really wanted them to be able to come back to a house that felt like Christmas. And it was an interesting weekend because I did a lot of reflecting. Last Christmas, I was in a terribly dark place. And what had happened was I originally filed for divorce in November 2017. And we had a trial date. There was no settling. My ex-husband was opposed to going to mediation. He was opposed to any sort of negotiation. He basically, on moral grounds, said he would not participate in the divorce. So we had to go to trial, which was not fun. Not what I would recommend as a divorce professional. It's a terrible idea. But sometimes that's your only option. So we had a trial date of October 2018. And coming up to the trial date, the other side filed a motion to continue. We had a status conference settled on that very last day, so past the time when exhibits were due and the pretrial was due. And getting together the exhibits and the pretrial is a very yucky emotional experience, because you basically have to you have to climb through all of your mounds of documents and determine which pieces of evidence you're going to use. So you got to look at all the text messages and all the emails, and it's not a fun emotional experience. So things were all jacked up emotionally there. And then we've got this hearing, and we get on the telephone for a hearing on this motion to continue. And the judge says, I'm not going to grant this motion to continue. You guys have had a year, right? But I'm sorry to say there's been a family emergency, and I have to continue the hearing because of the family emergency. And guess what? There is nothing that can be done. And I've had to deliver this news many, many times to clients. But to feel what that felt like emotionally, all this ramp up, a year of the process of divorce, which is absolute hell, to be told by the judge, sorry, it's not going to happen. And it's through no fault of mine, of course. And we're gonna set this out, and it's going to be the end of January. So Christmas last year was just sort of awful. I just felt like I was in limbo. I had thought that the year would end with at least a conclusion of this yucky, yucky chapter that is the process of divorce. And that just wasn't going to happen. So I was still in a small little rental home, and managed to put together something that looked like Christmas. This year feels so different. Actually being divorced was massive. Just the emotional weight of having the process be gone, of not being involved in the court process anymore is massive and wonderful. And it's not just symbolic, it's very real, makes a real difference. So the chapter's closed. The chapter of getting divorced is closed. And now a new chapter, how to be divorced. And that's really different. I have never hung Christmas lights. I got married when I was, 22. And so I've never hung Christmas lights on a house. I've never went and got a Christmas tree, or figured out how to get it home by myself. I don't have any ornaments or any of our Christmas decorations because they all stayed in the house. And so it's definitely there are a bunch of events that happen post-divorce that are very symbolic and very real, moving out and having to get all new furniture and having to figure out how to decorate starting from scratch was one of those moments. And this Christmas was another one of those moments where it's like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want a real tree? Do I want a fake tree? I got a beautiful tree. I'll show it to you. And then I don't have any ornaments, so I went with a color theme. And it's the bottom line is it's working. So I spent last night making sugar cookie Christmas dough, which is in the fridge, so that when I get my kids back today, we can spend today rolling out dough and making it into cookies, and then we'll make frosting and we'll decorate our cookies. And one of the hard things about being divorced is cramming in everything that you'd like to do when you had your kids all the time into half the time. I've got them half the time. And, spending the time that I don't have them, both taking care of myself and prepping things for how to make the most of my time with them. So all in all, I'm grateful this Christmas season, just really grateful that last year's season is behind me, and grateful that we get to enter into this new season and new year in a different spot. And also, there's always this bittersweetness of, what was like life like pre-divorce and post-divorce, and what do these transitions look like. And Thanksgiving was wonderful. And I'm hoping that this Christmas is wonderful as well. But I would love to know from you, what was your first couple Christmases after your divorce like? And what did you do to make it special? And did you feel happy or did you feel sad? And if you wouldn't mind sharing that with me, I would just be very interested. And then if you have questions about family law in Arizona, let me know.